It's 36 minutes after 7 on May Day here on the AM show. Now it's Workers' Day, so we thought, why not assemble some fine workers together? Let's have a conversation. But we thought it would be exciting with women. Let's explore some of the things that some great and amazing women are doing here in our country, how they manage it, and hopefully they can inspire you out there to go ahead and do something good for yourself. So here we go with our amazing women in the studio right now from different backgrounds. Faustina Kopsing is National Overall Best Teacher 2017. That's huge. Good morning to you and thank you for being here.
Good morning.
Yeah. We also have Nana Sewa Bossman, who is a banker. But in between Nana Sewa and Faustina, we have Laurentia Hono Anu, who is a medical doctor. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming. So we've got a banker, we have a doctor, and we have an amazing teacher. I'll start with you. National Best Teacher 2017. How are you still enjoying that award?
Yes. They're yet to organize for 2018, and so till that.
So you're still reigning National Best Teacher.
Sure.
And this is not Grace Accra. This is the entire nation. So that's huge. But can I ask you all, do you really love your jobs?
Yeah.
As a banker, you're really busy.
Very.
But you still love it.
But I still love it.
What is it about your job that you love so much?
The ability to reach high net worth individuals, talk to them about financial planning, how to manage their funds, how to manage their children's future, and the holistic view, everything about it makes me happy. And then I want to sit back and watch how they progress and how they're on the news and how they're making wealth. It makes me excited.
Yeah. And the doctor is also very busy always.
Apparently, it's a fulfilling job because then it's about saving lives. But more importantly, it's not like you're waiting for people to get sick before. So most of the time, we are moving towards preventive medicine now. So every time you interact with somebody, as much as you're treating the person, you're interacting to prevent it from happening again. So it's very fulfilling. Very fulfilling. Yeah. That's what is satisfying about my job.
Okay.
Yeah.
We
especially in Ghana.
Especially in Ghana. But we heard that most of you are trying to go out there. It's better when you leave the country.
Well, in terms of money, yes, but the fulfilling part, because then our job is such that you're trying to reach out to people and then prevent deaths ultimately. So if you're able to prevent deaths and then put a smile, somebody walks to your hospital sad, unhappy, and the person leaves smiling. Sometimes it just go beyond your pocket.
Yeah.
And you leave work happy. It just gives you some satisfaction.
Sure.
I mean, there are frustrations in life in relation to money, but the fulfillment goes beyond.
Yeah. We say that the teacher's reward is in heaven. But what are some of what do you really enjoy in terms of teaching?
Like you said, the teacher's reward is in heaven, but before we get to heaven, we're living here on earth.
Yes.
So it should start here on earth, like it just started with me last year, October, when the award came. I enjoy seeing my students coming up well. And one life I touched that I get so excited when I see him, Dr. Lawrence Latte, he's with the Tema General Hospital.
Okay.
I see him and I'm fulfilled. Though I'm older than him, now we talk as though we're colleagues now, yes, and I'm so excited. It's about doing your work and doing it well. If you've done it well, you see results and you're excited.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're talking about your various professions. You're a teacher, you're a doctor, you're a banker. And it sounds, all nice and well, but you started from somewhere. It hasn't been all this nice. How challenging has it been climbing through and getting to the point where you are now?
I was posted from training to one village, and I was the last
on my siblings. On the list, I'm the last.
Okay.
I've never left my home ever, you know, and then living, and then I had to go to a village. I saw the place. Ooh, I wasn't going to go back, no. So I came home. I stayed for some time. My dad said, Iraba, if you would go, better get up and go. So I had to go and start from that village. I learned a lot, and I went through enough.
A village with lights or no lights?
But when no, if I for DC primary, I mean, yes. Around the Ewutu Senior District,
Okay.
about, yes. And so after that experience, I went on study leave, and then I came to Accra.
Okay.
Coming to Accra, I came around Jamestown and its environs, in Bay, 28 February Road there. And you can tell the caliber of people we have in there, the challenges with the parents, the children coming from broken homes,
Yeah.
children living on the streets, and all. So I picked the habit of, why won't I start dealing with the street children? Because you're also supposed to come to school. Education is free at all angle in Ghana now. I mean, from basic school to SHS now we know it's free. And so why should a child be on the street? So I started helping them, and then I started liaising with an NGO, Jenny Streetwise Foundation, which is also in Jamestown. They have a sleeping place. So the children go to sleep there and they come to school. After school, I have to sit and be with them. Some don't even know how to manage their homeworks. I have to help them. Sometimes I have to go to the center to see them. And it was quite challenging.
Why were you doing all that? What was your motivation?
I just want to see them grow to be better people in future, because if I should be better in future and they are not, I don't think I'll have my peace. Because when you sleep, they can come with guns, and everything you have amassed to go down the drain.
True.
And so if I should bring them up to a certain level, they would also be able to stand on their feet and then fight for their lives.
Yeah.
And so I picked the motivation from there, and then I started helping them.
Nice. And I'm sure those of you out there who are watching and you've been posted somewhere, you're thinking you're dragging your feet, hopefully this inspires you. Please, how did you end up in the hospital? Was this the end that you saw from the beginning?
Well, life is, I hope to reach somewhere and then touch wider range of lives. But it, of course, doesn't start easy for every profession. And from what she said and from my personal experience, if you don't feel the fulfillment in your job, you can't be motivated to move from the lower step to the next step and to the next step. In medicine, if you start to look at your pocket and then how much you're earning, trust me, you're not going to reach anywhere. You are likely to drop out because you spend a lot of years in school. Now it's 6 years, but for those before me and including me, it was 7 years or 6.5 years. So you have to spend all that time in school whilst your mates that went to do degree finish and then start work. You come out and you're being paid almost the same amount as a degree person is being paid. But then it comes to how fulfilled or whatever you wanted to achieve. Before I came to medical school or decided I wanted to do medicine, I grew up in Ashaman. I was born in Ashaman. From there, I moved to Popase. I started helping the elderly. I moved to the house, clean their house. Okay. If I can't share my food, I share my food with them. So I saw it that medicine is the way I can reach out to both the elderly and the children. That's the way I saw it. So then I endeavored to take that path.
Nice.
And of course, people come to hospital, pay money, receive treatment, but it's not everybody that have the money to receive some treatments. So every doctor that I have worked with, including myself, we go beyond how much most patients pay, because it's just about fulfilling.
Yeah.
And then you start being a house officer where you have to work beneath consultants, specialists, and really house officer does most of the work at the hospital. They go for blood, they move around. Yeah. And I come back to the point that if you don't see the end or the fulfillment part, you will drop out.
Yeah.
So basically the motivation comes from how fulfilled you want to feel and then what you wanted to achieve. I even had my first daughter when I was in the final year, but it rather pushed me further.
Somebody would have dropped out because that must be really challenging.
Well, I had a good friend. I had a partner that was ready to support and then
I'll
take
come
me.
to, because I know that you all have some tricks in managing families and children. So we'll come to that point.
Yeah. So basically, in my profession, it's about what the lives you want to touch and then what you want to do. If you start looking at the money, you are not going to reach anywhere.
Yeah.
And sometimes where you come from also affects how you think and then what you want to achieve. Yeah.
True. Now I say, well.
Okay,
Banker, where did you begin?
Interestingly, I was a science student.
Okay.
I stayed in University of Ghana all my life pursuing biological science. I wanted to be a doctor because when you're growing up, mommy thinks that is the ideal. Mommy thinks that when my child is the doctor, I mean, that's what's on top and everything. So I was learning very hard. In fact, very hard. Apparently it was too hard because talent brought the relationship thing to me. So I remember one time I went to one of the Standard Chartered branches when I was still in university, and then I saw how the ladies were standing behind the counter serving the customers, and I looked at them and I was like, oh, look at how pretty they are. I asked the person I was with, am I this pretty? He was like, oh yes, you can do it actually. So from that day, even though I was telling my mommy, we're going to medical school, in my mind somewhere I was like, how I wish something would change. Now, we stayed in University of Ghana, up and down, medical school interview, all those funny things.
Oh, you went through all that?
Eventually, you didn't get it. So then we knew that it was God. Yeah. So,
but you know, that point breaks people. There are people who don't get admission to medical school, and that's the end.
My grade point wasn't extra, or that if they had rejected me, I would die. I mean, I knew that I was just on the border, and I was working too hard to make it. What if I got in and then it became distractive for me? So on the other hand, I was excited, and I remember Dr. Frifa, he's in the psychology department, telling me after one of those interviews that come to the psychology department, let's talk. So I went to see him, and he says, you make a fine clinical psychologist. I said, hey, another one is here. So I studied psychology, did this, did that, but I knew that I was a relationship person. I knew that I loved to see people happy, especially on the social psychology front. Okay. So when the national service postings came, and they had posted me to Standard Chartered, I said, this must have just been God orchestrating, ordering my steps. So when I got in there, I didn't take things for granted. Right from day one, I thought I had to be excellent, because if I had been on the other side of the sciences and it didn't work, I couldn't just fail on this front too. Sure. And I wasn't just there also to do normal tailoring, and I had the objective in mind that in a few years I should get there to at least middle management. So with that drive, I went into the service quality space, where you're almost like a headmistress, trying to ensure that people are doing the right thing, resolving customer complaints. And through that angle, I learned a lot, and from very supportive bosses who thought that I had the energy and worked with me. Now from there, after a few years, I moved to my present shop, where I moved from Standard Chartered on a very low grade and on to middle management into because I just had the energy and the drive, and it was as though I didn't have time to waste. Yeah. And so I was just pushing, and I am where I am now. I am extremely content, especially when I see an email come from somebody of high stature say you are an effective salesperson for your bank. I get very excited, and then he goes like, how I wish I had a bank. I'd put you as the
Oh, that's nice.
So I'm looking forward to becoming the managing director of a bank.
Shit. We're looking forward to it. I'll remember this conversation.
And I'll remember you too, Mama Beauty. I go for all the loans.
I thought you say free. It has to come with an L. But listen, there are challenges managing what you have, trying to climb and go higher, because you all want to go higher than where you are now.
Yeah.
But you're all family people. So let's talk about how you juggle both. How do you manage to make it work? There are people who are trying to figure it out. They still can't. So how do you make it work? Let's start with the doctor. Because your first baby came when you were still in school.
Yes. I'm actually very proud of that because I made it through, and I see it as a motivation for others. I mean, well, it's a she.
Okay.
I had a daughter. Her father was very supportive. He was my mate.
Okay.
So it was good for me because then anything I didn't understand or anything.
Sometimes you do some of the assignment. Okay, well, I didn't say that.
So we were able to pull through medical school, and then when it comes to work, we both know our schedule, and so we compare our schedules and then try to see if you can do this so that I can do this, and so that at every point in time there's somebody at home. I don't have a house help.
Okay. Still don't?
No.
Okay.
I have 2 kids now. The second one is also a girl.
Okay.
But yeah, so basically that's what we do, and it's been tough from the beginning because when you start as a house officer, you don't really have so much say. Your bosses write a timetable, you're supposed to take it as it is. So it was difficult then. Then I had my mom helping at some point. She started school quite early, when she was 1 year, 6 months.
Okay. That's normal for quite a number of us?
Yes.
So you're not alone?
I mean, I had a lot of people criticizing me then. It's too early, she'll get sick and all that.
Yeah.
But what I look out for when I'm taking my child to a new school, I look out for the hygiene, because I don't want her getting sick every time, so I have to be asking for permission, because should I say it's a cliche? A lot of employers say that women like to ask for permission. It's either the child is sick. I didn't want that. So when I'm taking my child to a school, I look out for the hygiene. As for the learning, I think every school is doing something, they're studying and all, but the hygiene is my priority, so that she doesn't keep getting sick and I have to be asking for permission, and then it's another lady who comes to look for a job is being told that, look at the people I already work with.
Yeah.
They keep asking for permission, so I can't employ another woman. I've actually been told that before. I went for an interview, and the interviewer told me that they have women and they go for maternity leaves. They already have nurses, and majority of the nurses go for maternity leaves. So why employ another doctor who is a female to go for another maternity leave? That would be too much. So I didn't get that job.
Wow.
Yes. Somewhere in another country, I should be suing them, right?
Yeah. There's a case right now which ended, I think on the 23rd. 2 Ghana National Fire Service women, they have this regulation which says that if you get pregnant within the first 3 years of that employment, you be dismissed. Yeah. So that's what happened to them. But they took the case on to SHRASH. SHRASH went to the High Court, and they won the case. So now, you know, if all the services, if you have a regulation that says women can't get pregnant within blah 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 blah, you better take it out, otherwise somebody will sue you.
At least that one
you
would have read it and then accept, should I take it or not? This one, I wasn't even given the opportunity, and I was told point
But that's not fair. Women have to face, you know, like we face all these things. You are lucky they told you. Somebody would not get the job and would not even know why.
Well. So it's pretty difficult, but it takes in our society, it takes a community, or it takes how do they say it? It takes the nation or the village to bring up your children and at the same time manage your career. It's difficult for us, and I'm sure my other sisters would relate.
Yeah.
But with your unit of family and partner you should be able to pull through. But it all comes from being focused. If you're not focused enough, you will just give up.
Now that's why you close really late from the bank. Well, that's the impression that we get. We hear bankers don't close early.
Close the door
Even though you close at 4:30 or 5 to us, you're still in there. So how do you manage with family?
Okay, so for the mainstream banking, they will close late because at the end of the day, when everybody is gone, they have to balance the funds and ensure that they didn't overpay anybody, check all the auditable issues, governance issues, and that's why you see them in there that late. But for my side, where you deal with customers during the day, you visit them and all that, you have the flexibility of closing at exactly at 5.
Okay.
Unless there's something more to be done. It's been tough. The first thing I have done is to take away the guilt. Because anytime anytime I see my kids, especially I have a daughter and a son. I'm in love with the boy, probably because of negative opposite sex issues. I love my daughter. She's a replica of me, but I just adore the boy. When I'm leaving him at home, I'm like, oh God. And my mom is there. I have a strong support system. My siblings take time off work to come and take care of the kids when I have nobody.
Okay.
My mom is there. She can't be, she's not that strong, but she's always forceful, checking up on the kids. And my husband, oh my God, he's the #1 fan. I mean, go do it. And then he doesn't want me to blame him for not, I got married to you and now I am not making the A's. No, so he takes charge of the kids sometimes and I'm out there. But when I am going and I'm moving out of the house, I feel so guilty. One of these days I just sat down and I said, no, I'm not guilty anymore, because if I'm able to buy you the dresses and the shoes you want, and I'm able to take you out on holidays when you need it and give you the kind of best education, let me compensate myself that I am doing this whilst grandma takes care of you, so that it merges.
And what's more important? I love you, and you know that I love you.
It's actually the quality of time you spend and not the quantity. Because if I'm home, usually my phone is somewhere, and my concentration is just on them. If my husband is around, we divide it. But if he's not there, it's on them. If we go out, you go out. If you're home, you're home. So it's the quality and not the...
And then Sheryl Sandberg, she's the chief operating officer for Facebook. She has a book called Lean In. I will want every woman...
Lean in.
Lean in.
Okay.
And she talks about all these issues and how when you have the least opportunity to be around the table, you must represent. So I have been using it. So the little time that I am at work, my voice must be heard. My hands must be up. If you call me, I will show up. And I will make sure that I deliver, I execute excellently, so much so that the biological lapse of me having to breastfeed all night, so come to work with puffed up eyes, will not get to my boss, because she knows that if I give this girl the opportunity, she will show up. So excellent execution is something we need to learn as women, and not probably just say that because I have kids and it's against me, or the men women are our own enemies, and the men are talking at our back and they don't give us the look. If you don't give me a chance at the table, I'll bring my chair. Nice. And I'll sit there and I'll be part of the conversation whilst I can.
Whether you like
if it
or
is
not.
time, if I have a baby and it's 3 o'clock and I have to check out, I will check out honorably, knowing that the little time I came to work, I came to show up. So these are a few of the tricks that work for me.
Auntie Faustina, you are the teacher, so you would have a lot more to say. You're very experienced. So how do you make it work?
Like they've all just said, I also had my boy just when I'd gotten admission to go to school. He was just 2 weeks.
Oof.
And you can imagine. And I've just gotten out of a C-section, and I have to go for registration, and I have to breastfeed. And then I think there was once I was in a queue, and you know what it comes with. So the guys saw, and they were like, "Baby mommy, oh, let her go."
Yeah.
So I was so excited, and then I registered. And then I would want to thank my mom, Mrs. Rebecca Cobson. She's been very there. I mean, she's been there. She told I was actually going to defer. And then she told me, but my mates in the Women's Fellowship have been doing it for their daughters. So I'm going to go with you.
Oh.
And my husband was like, is she going to leave your dad, leave home and follow you to campus? She said she's going to do it. So we needed to go and then rent an apartment. And then I was there with her. I have to wake up as early as possible, breastfeed this baby. Lecture starts at 6, so you can imagine. And leave the baby with my mom, and then go for lectures. And I was ending at 6 in the evening. And so, and so any break I have to rush and then come and breastfeed and then go. And then when the guys in my class got to know I had that baby, sometimes when they leave their homes and then their halls, they'll call you. Tina, are you coming? And I'm like, I'm coming, Yeah. And then they'll go find stones and then,
save
leave.
a seat for you.
So before I get there are stones, for me to find just to get a place to sit when I have to get some photocopies. And then, campus life.
Yeah.
So the guys, and then some few friends
God
were
just gives you people
just
to be there for you.
To
Some
make you
people
comfortable.
Really nice
once
to
you are prepared once you are prepared to move, he's ready to get people to help you move. Yes. And so it was like that. My mom would come home over the weekends to take care of my dad and then the other house chores. And then my husband comes over to campus, and then they were just coming in and moving out like that till after 6 months, she said, you know what, I have to take this baby home. And so the baby was brought home, and he was with my mom.
Yeah.
I was then coming over every weekend.
The guilt too?
Oh, don't go there, my sister. I was coming home over the weekends. And then when I come to pick him and then send him home. I bring him back Sunday evening because Monday dawn I have to leave for, lecture starts at 6. So Monday dawn I have to leave. I have to make sure I'm on campus by 6 o'clock to start my lecture. And then at times after church, I'll take him home, we play, we have our chat, normal mother and son thing. And then I'm coming back to drop him with grandma. And at times he will hold the gate and he will start shouting. When he's I leave him, and when he's shouting, as I walk down, I'm crying, and he's also crying behind. Because it's like she said, I have to stay with him. I have to stay with him. The dad at times have to go and pick him for weighings and all those things, And so it's not been easy till now. And then even with my job, I close officially at 3:15. But with this other children stuff, so I have to sit in. I'm currently in a school around Ayalolo, between Arena and then the Abubulushi Market there. So the caliber of children there. The majority of them are having their mothers on the market. And and so some too don't really have any place. And so I stay around with them. Some have to do their homeworks. I have to check on them. And my boy will call me. He calls me Sweet. So he says, Sweet, I've come. Then I say, okay. Homework? Say yes. How many? 3. Which one is more? Maths. Which one is less? English. And so, okay, so let's start with the maths.
So you have to do it on the phone.
We have to do some on the phone.
Mama.
I can relate.
I had to go for a staff there about last weekend. And then just when I was dressing up, because it was a Saturday, my daughter knew that Saturdays would be at home. So all of a sudden, Mommy is dressing up. So she also goes, wears her shoe, obviously the left and the right, and then she's like, she puts powder on her face. She's ready, we're going out. I said, where are you going? She was like, Mommy, we are going out. I said, no, I'm going to my bank. We have work. I want to come too. I said, I've told you my bank, we count money. So you can't come. He's like, let me talk to your boss. And I was like, what are you going to tell my boss? I want to come. Otherwise, let's stay at home. And I was like, no, this conversation is getting...
I know that some of you still want to go beyond where you are.
Yeah.
And that it becomes more challenging when you want to keep climbing, which means you probably might want to go back to school or
Yeah.
take care. So how do you do it? How do you manage it? Shouldn't we just be satisfied? Because after all, we have family, and whether you like it or not, there's one thing which I am grateful that you all mentioned. There are good men in your life. There are men who are there. But shouldn't we realize that we are the runners of the home and stop at some point?
Well, my point is you can run the home and still achieve what you want. There, as much as we are all saying they are there are times they probably are going to work or they are also busy and they can't compromise. It happens. So at those times, you would have to step up. I go to work. Okay, I'm sure we all do the stew and the soup preparation, put in the fridge and all that. But I'm also the kind that wouldn't have somebody cook for my kids.
same.
So I make sure I come home and do all that. I try to see them before they go to bed. I don't know. I just feel happy when I see them before they go. I don't like it when I get home and they are asleep. I don't know how their day went. I don't know what has happened. But all that, the man can't do it for you. He can just watch them for a while, but he can't, at some point, he can't do, you run the home. But I think God has endowed us so much that we have so much strength. We can do the job. We can still take care of the house. We can still push forward. Yeah, at some point, you might want to relax and then look for a good time and then push forward. Yeah, like me now, my last daughter is 2 years. She's moving on to 3. Next year, I should be moving up, doing more studies, trying to move up and all that. Because I see it as a good time, but at some time you are like, okay, let me chill and then wait for a period. But some people don't have, I'm sure the corporate people, because opportunities are thrown at you at some time. I mean, I've heard stories where you have to go to this country, you have to go for this meeting, and you can't really do anything about it, and so then you have to go. But for me, I can choose the time. I do that. There's no pressure on me, but the world is moving forward. You know. As I said, for me, it's not about the money. You want to save more lives. So now you're a GP, but you would want to be a family physician or a pediatrician, or so that you can reach the specific group of people your heart wants to reach. So you have to, that is your own pressure. And as much as you want to manage the home, you would also want to reach out to people. It's your job, but that's why you're a woman. You have to take care of the home and still move forward. And it's a motivation for your kids too.
Yes.
It's true.
Especially me that I have daughters. I mean, as she said, when you show up, make sure you represent. That's true.
But Auntie Fossey, you're a teacher. I mean, what else?
Like she just said, when you show up, your kids are excited. And seriously, for all that we're saying about the men, they get excited when you are getting up there. They get very excited. Whether they show it or not, we know they do. Yes. And so when the opportunity comes, you got to just grab it. Because you wouldn't know when. For me, when the award came, it came with a scholarship. And so I'm going to get hold of it. When it came, my boy was on the ground and he just didn't know what to do. He was so much excited. The program was on Thursday. We came back on Friday. And I think over the weekend, he went for a Saturday class. And so he came back and he was laughing. No, I was in town and I was called. And there were a whole lot of children. Mommy, congratulations. I was like, who are they? Then they said, we are Will Girl's classmates. He had gone to bring all of them to the house. And then when I came home, he said, do you know what happened today? I said, what happened? He said, when I got there to the school, they were all excited. Do you know my friend, very good friend, just jumped and then just fell on me. His trouser got torn. Can you imagine? Even me, the best teacher's son, he seen me and the trouser is getting torn. What will he do when he sees the best teacher himself, you know? And so they get excited. Yes, they get very much excited. My boy, for instance, maybe because of my schedule, he's learned so many things. So he's very independent. But I try to make time. I search through his bags. When for a week we've not had a chat, I try to see if he's going off the track. And so, what's in your bag? Let me check your bag. He's in JHS2 now. So what's going on? What's in your bag? What is that? What is, yes. He started using phone, I think, some few months ago, because any phone that shows up, I seize it. Yes, you don't need a phone. If you want a phone, you use grandma's phone or grandpa's phone if I'm not available, just so that if I'm not around, doesn't mean you should be doing anything behind the scene. And I would say thanks to grandma, thanks to people around me, and thanks to God too. He does so many things on his own. He wakes up, if he wants to fix his breakfast now, he does it. He wakes up, or when he comes from school and he feels like taking something, the only thing he needs is make the things available. If it's vegetables, whatever, just make them available.
Oh,
so
nice.
at times I'm in school and he's like, I'm going to prepare indomie. Should I add you?
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, that's a good son.
You know, so it's been here and there. It's not been easy.
Yeah.
But then the Lord is taking us.
Can I ask a politically correct question? There are lots of competitions at work. You know, you have to battle a lot of things out. So how do you manage, you know, all that politics that come with it? I think I'll start with the corporate world, because Charlie, corporate is hard.
Politics,
It's another level of politics. It's another level of, you know how women naturally will wait for a man to come for them. We also will wait in the workplace thinking that, oh, I'm doing my job, so my boss should identify me for the next role. But nobody is coming, really. I have learned that too quickly, because then that is when the years number. 10 years you're in the same role, 20 years you're in the same role, and then you become the Methuselah of the department. I really think that the politics, you don't have to join it. But again, your execution must be excellent. I also think that if you've done some work, get the credit. Because we know that most of the time, men will go for the deal and come and give it to us to execute and go back and take the shine. Sometimes, no one should need to edit me. But sometimes, they like to take the shine. If you don't have a good boss like mine, my boss will let the credits roll. Oh, so Nana Sewa did this, and she did that, and she put, and then he will shout for you. But some other bosses, especially if you meet one of our kind, like a woman, may sit on your shine. So you have to find ways of shining, like having an elevator speech. If I meet the MD in the elevator, I'll find 2 lines to let him know what I do and how well I do it. So over time, we are all learning how to. It's a world of politics. We vote in every 4 years, so we must learn how to be politicians ourselves in a subtle way, not the kind where I will kill you or I will do this, but you also need to show, like the word show up always works.
I like that. That's in my purse forever.
Yes.
Elevator speech.
Look good, dress gorgeous. Everything must be World Cup.
That's it.
We are going jogging. Let's yours be different. When the man is somebody standing there, who is that?
Correct.
Then the conversation can start. But if you keep on hiding and standing behind your bosses and hoping that one of these days he will come for you, he is looking for his promotion and really doesn't have your time. So I think that we need to show up any day. Anytime.
Sure.
Nice. I like that. I like that. That's a booster. For medicine, really, is there
No competition.
Well, no, well, when you're students, that's when the competition is. It's not really a competition, but you want your boss to see that you're at work, you're doing something, so that when it's time for them to evaluate you, they evaluate you. I remember when I was a house job, a few residents like to do that. I mean, even if you are the house officer, you're doing the same, they want to show that they are the ones who instructed you to do it. It's fine, it's fine. But in clinical work, it's about teamwork, because you are taking care of somebody. it includes the nurse, it includes the person who even prepares the bed, the community health nurse, the cleaner, everybody, because it's about the well-being of somebody. So it's a teamwork. So nobody really competes to show that I took care of this patient for the patient to get better. But at some level, the clinics and the hospital have a political side. But that's among the bosses and the administrators and then the head of departments and all that. But when it comes to dealing with patients, it's about teamwork. So when I get to that level, I'll pick a few of the things. But even now,
that's it. That's the spirit.
But even now, a few of the GPs and the specialists do this home visits and private practice and all that. So you have to catch attention. You have to. It's about marketing. So if you don't stand out, if you don't catch their attention, you're not going to get the clients that will give you the big pay. And then you understand. So clinic is moving to a corporate world. So you have to stand out. You have to have elevator speech. Anything that you do it. Well, for me, anything that you do it with your heart. Once you do it with your heart, and so you're fine.
Nice. I'll end with you.
Yes. She said anything that you are doing, when it comes to dress and dress well, look gorgeous, look good, and that's one of my policies. The packaging. The packaging. Who are you? You shouldn't just be an ordinary whatever people know. So I'm a teacher, so I should be seen in a particular way. No, you won't see me that way. You will not see me that way. I make sure I stand out any day. And then people are like, I teach, frankly, I teach primary 1.
Okay.
So you can imagine, and people are like,
oh, you teach primary 1?
Sure. So when the awards came, people were like, class 1 pa, they're not sure. You know, to beg for the whole country.
That's where a lot of work is done. I mean, if your child is not behaving
when I had to be in a competition with those in the SHS, you can imagine all the sciences and then the equations and then the math, you know. And my 1 + 1 just went, and then we went through just like that. It comes with a packaging.
Your 1 + 1 is the foundation.
It's the foundation of the equations they're having out there. And so it comes with a package. How do you present yourself? How do you present yourself? Sometimes you should get to a place, people should be confused who you are. Are you sure she's a teacher? Yes, I am. You know? Are you sure she's a, you need to package yourself well. Fortunately, I have a boss, my headmistress is a woman, and she's just a mother. I mean, when the game comes and she feels you can play, she just passes to you. And so a lot of exposure there. My current school, I think I just started my 3rd year. And when you come there, it's like I've been there more than 10 years.
Wow.
Yes, because of the way I package myself. If there's anything she feels I can do, she's like, Fosti, I know you can do it. I leave it with you. If I have to organize programs for the children, I have to go for sponsorship. I have to. It's a government school, but we just want to give them the exposure. Because they are not different from children in the big school we call. And so if there's anything going on in those schools, and you yourself, you are a teacher, and you say you are, you know your WhatsApp, you know you are up there, then bring it down for the children to also enjoy. Yes. And so for me, majority of people who come to my school, they are like, are you sure the school is a government school? Yes, because the kind of setting we've put in the school, you wouldn't believe.
I'll come and visit you.
Sure, do come. Yes, you're invited.
But I have a last question. You know, people say when women seem to have it all, like families going on, you're doing work, you're doing well in the workplace. They say that you don't have a life. You know, like you're stiff. You don't chill. You don't. So I want to ask you: do you have a private moment? Do you have time for yourself?
Sure.
As me, like a me time.
Mama V, I think that you can't give what you don't have. You can't pour from an empty cup. So then the me time for me will be reading a book. Or playing around with my kids. Or movie time with the partner. or having a YouTube moment with my mom. I have a group, I belong to a group of women just like me. We don't meet most of the time, but we are on WhatsApp and we laugh at everything and chat about everything. I won't be able to do nightclubs and all that, because then what kind of mother will I be? Because I don't have a lot of time. The night when I have to spend with my kids, I can't be out there. When I just decide that this is me for now.
Yes.
I'll wear my crown, I'll wear my cloak. I'm not bowing my head because I can't attend your party. And I will just be there for now.
Have to
learn, remain relevant.
Yeah.
And then I think that at the right time, when the kids are grown, my mother tells me it's boring when they are grown and gone.
Yeah.
I think I can party.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
That's it. That's it.
Yes.
Okay, so real quick, what did you
It
do?
depends. Life is about stages. When you are 20, you're 20. When you're 30, you're 30. When you're 40, you're 40. You can't be 40 and at 20. And then responsibilities and all that sometimes take your time. But as much as we are juggling work, home, everything, you still want to have a me time. So I also make it a point to read 2 books a month.
Okay.
So I read so that it's, as much as it's work home, your mind is not just on the work and home. You get to know what is happening around and get to learn a lot. And then movie time, as she said.
Okay.
And
All right.
then I go out a lot with the kids. I go out a lot with them. I'm happy when I have that quality time with them.
Amazing.
And not forgetting the partner. We sometimes focus on the kids and the work, and then sometimes don't make time for them. But you have to try and make time for them too.
As you must say, you have time away from your children, your many children.
Yes. But I still try to make time for myself.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, I should be me.
Yeah.
And they should also have their lives.
Yeah.
You know, like they all said, I try to go out when I have time. I do. Today, for instance, I planned going out with him. He said, "Can I go for rehearsals, instrument rehearsals?" Where? Brigade. I said, okay. So he's going to go, and I'm also going to be with my Holy Child mates. We are also gathering somewhere to think of ourselves and do our own thing. Yes, so when the time comes, when the need be, I mean, why not?
Okay.
Just,
Listen,
it's very healthy.
I am the luckiest woman right now, because I get to hear, you know, at first hand. Thank you so much for sharing. I know how hard it is. Thankfully, today is a holiday, so you all could make time to be here. But we're super grateful to you. And I hope that you're there inspired by what you've heard and what you've seen. So thank you. Enjoy the holiday. Happy May Day to all of you.
Thank you too.